let's make crispy garlic and herb roasted holiday potatoes you and your whole family will love. Here's what you're gonna need. You're gonna need some Yukon Gold potatoes for this recipe. Make sure you wash them up. You're gonna need some butter. You're gonna need a really interesting ingredient. We'll be using a teaspoon of baking soda, and we're also going to use some Parmesan cheese, okay? I got some nice fresh garlic we'll be using. Fresh herbs here. I got thyme, I got some rosemary, and some beautiful parsley, and we got some seasoning. We got some salt and pepper. Make sure your hands are clean. I'm gonna show you how to make delicious holiday roasted garlic potatoes, Gina Young style. Hope you all are having a good weekend today, and if you're not, hopefully I can brighten up your day with this here recipe. The holidays around the corner once again, and everybody's looking for that perfect holiday dish that you could bring to your loved one's dinner table. This is it. It's gonna steal the show. If you love potatoes like we do here at the Young's house, you're gonna live for this recipe, and it's so stinking easy to make. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take these Yukon Gold potatoes, and this time we're going to take the skin off. Super easy to do this, and I'm gonna show you that we wanna cut these into big chunks for this recipe. I'm going to suggest that the only type of potato that you use for this recipe is going to be the Yukon Gold. I don't feel like another potato would work for this recipe. So now that we have it nice and peeled, let me show you how I like to cut it down into the big chunks that we're looking for. So we're just going to cut it down to half this way, and then we're going to do something like this. This is exactly what we're looking for, okay? Big chunks. Perfect. One thing that I want to do is I'm going to take these potatoes, put them into a strainer, take them over to the sink, and I want to rinse them. I want to rinse them about 4 or 5 times because, as we know, potatoes have a lot of starch, but you can rinse some of it off. Okay, when you see that water beginning to run nice and clear versus cloudy, you've rinsed a lot of that starch off. So we're going to take it over to the sink and rinse it before it goes into our pot. So now that our potatoes have been rinsed off, we're going to put them into the water. But before we put them into the water, we're getting ready to do something super interesting that is going to make these potatoes super crispy, golden brown, delicious like we want. So I'm using just a teaspoon of the baking soda, and I'm going to just measure it off, you know, by doing a number like this. Get that teaspoon of baking soda into the water, and now we want to salt the water to give the potato some great flavor. Don't be afraid to use the salt. I can understand if you can't use it, just leave it out, but they need to be seasoned, okay? So now let's go ahead and we're going to give everything, I'll just use a spatula, give this a nice stir. Potatoes are going in. We're going to cook these potatoes until they're, you know how we usually say fork tender? Right before they get fork tender is when I want you to take these out. So we're not looking for fork tender, just barely almost there. Potatoes going in, everyone into the bath. I'm going to be turning this on to like a medium-high heat. You keep a good eye on it because this recipe will not turn out right for you if you overcook these potatoes. This part right here is super interesting. So you're going to grab a 9x12 or 9x13 baking dish. Okay, and we're going to put some oil in the bottom of this pan. We're going to put a nice amount of oil in this pan because our potatoes are going to fully cook in this oil, and they're going to fry, and they're going to be golden brown crispy. They're going to be luscious and delicious. Let me show you how much. Once I pour it in here, I'll bring this pan up to the camera so y'all can see. That was a perfect amount. Okay, let's see. Look at this. Perfect. This recipe requires you to use some garlic and a nice amount of it. That's why it's called a garlic butter herb fried potato. Now listen to me. I'm going to use fresh. Anytime I'm making a recipe, anytime you see a Gina Young recipe, it's the fresh garlic, not the kind that you guys find in a jar that's packed in oil or water. Don't use that. Okay, got some fresh garlic. So now, you don't have to fry this. I'm going to fry it because I don't want for my butter herb mixture to be too pungent and strong with that garlic, but I want to taste the lovely garlic. We can make it taste much better by giving it a nice fry. So I'm going to do that to kind of break it down. Okay, I've already taken the skin off. I'm going to chop it down fine as I can, and then into just this little tiny bit of oil here. I'm going to cook it till it gets nice and crispy. into the oil so it can get nice and crispy. Don't cook it too long. You cook it too long, you burn it, it gets a funky taste, right? But once again, I just want to reiterate, you can use this raw in that herb mixture if you want to, okay? But it have a pungent taste. So I'm going to take some of these lovely sprigs of rosemary, oh my goodness, right off of the stalk, and we're going to chop it up. That little bit right there is just fine. And then with the thyme, you just kind of take it and do like this until all those little lovely pieces come off, just like so. And then we're going to run our knife through here several times to chop everything down. Oh, it smells so good. It's almost time to take our potatoes out of the water. I'm going to double check it, make sure that it's not fork tender, but it's almost there. The garlic is cooking up. The whole house smells amazing. Just a little handful of the parsley and all the other spices or herbs, and we're going to gently break them down. And then we need to grab a stick of butter. Your butter can be salted or unsalted. Let me show you our garlic. It's golden brown, it's crispy, nice and fragrant. Let's see, I don't know if y'all can see. Just like this. Let's get it into this bowl, and then we're gonna take one stick of butter, put it in here, and melt the butter. We're going to do something super interesting. The oven is preheated to 350 degrees. We're going to take this pan that has just the oil in it, and we're going to get that oil super hot. Okay, so let's do that now. And once that oil is bubbling, sizzling hot, then we're going to take our potatoes that we have drained. They're draining right now in a colander in the sink, and we're going to place them in here. Put a little bit of salt on them. It gets interesting. The potatoes are nice and drained. You want to make sure that they have absolutely no water on them, right? The oil is hot, so we're going to be taking that pan out of the oven. In the meantime, let's take our stick of butter, get it heated up in the microwave until it's melty. The oil is nice and hot. Our potatoes have cooled down by a little bit, and they're nice and drained. This oil, super hot. Let's get these right into the oil just like this. Every 10 minutes, I want you to open up the oven and turn these. That's how we're gonna get that crispiness that we're looking for, that golden brown beautifulness, okay? Let's put them in here in rows. Don't stack them on top of each other. Into the oven. There's two things that I did off camera. Before putting the potatoes into the oven, I took some salt and I salted just the top of the potatoes. Remember, every 10 to 15 minutes, you keep turning them in that oil until you see golden brown. Okay, so now this butter here, I am not gonna put all these lovely herbs in this butter until the potatoes are done and they come out of the oven. But what I did to this was I added some chicken bouillon powder to this to give it an extra boost of flavor. Just like a teaspoon. Real quick, I'm just gonna show you how it's sizzling, it's bubbling. You're supposed to see that, but we're going in for our first turn. And no, they're not gonna be golden brown right away. Hold your horses, take it time, don't rush. Look at these, yeah, you're not gonna believe this. Look at these potatoes. How golden brown crispy are they? Listen, one thing that you must do is drain them. You don't want to digest that oil. Drain them very well. You can see that I'm using a cooling rack and a cookie sheet so I can get rid of all that oil. If you don't have that, just use a paper towel, of course. Okay? Let me show you something real quick before I move any further. Listen to this. You want to hear that. Right when you're draining your potatoes and they're still nice and hot, go ahead and reheat your butter back up so it can get melty again. And then we're going to take those lovely herbs that we cut down. I cut a bit too much, but we're going to mix it into that butter. Oh my goodness. How gorgeous is this, first of all? It smells so good. Are you kidding me? Now, I'm going to warn you. If you're making this for the holidays, you're going to need to peel a whole lot of potatoes, right? Let's salt and pepper them, okay? You don't have to use pepper if you don't want to, but I want some salt and pepper. Oh my goodness, yes. Okay, and now watch this. Put that little bit of salt there. Are you kidding me? Oh, yes. Oh my goodness. This right here is going to be your favorite. Finish it off with Parmesan cheese. If you want to grate it yourself, you can. Look at this. Oh my and goodness. Look at this. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. If you ain't subscribed, what you waiting on? Tell the world what Gina Young's doing in this kitchen every single day. And Father, we thank you for this meal, your hedge of protection and your love. Amen. Let's taste. I'm going to give you all that first bite. Come on in. I'm going to drag it through the sauce. This sauce is the boss. I'm going in. Stay right there. Oh, this is so good.